Good Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Nicole Hartford. Thank you for joining us here on 11 Alive Plus as we monitor our weather impact alert awaiting freezing rain and a winter storm across North Georgia. That weather impact alert is for today through Monday as we track not only freezing rain, but the arrival of some very cold air. So you need to plan for impacts to travel due to icy roadways, as well as potentially some downed trees and power lines, which could lead to power outages. This is a major winter storm across the country. There are winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, as well as ice storm warnings in place stretching from New Mexico and Texas all the way up to the northeast, and that does include here in our neck of the woods. Right now, not much going on for us. A lot of that wintry precipitation is still off towards the west, where there's a mix of snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rainfall from Texas through Arkansas, Oklahoma, even into Mississippi and Alabama. Now, the radar is picking up on a little bit of something up into far north Georgia, but I want to note that in a lot of these locations, the air is still so dry that I don't think much of this is actually reaching the ground. So while we could certainly see already some rain and freezing rain this morning, especially up into far north Georgia, and even some sleet possible, a lot of this so far is not reaching the ground. I think this will start to reach the ground a little more over the course of the next couple hours as the atmosphere saturates. Another important note is that in a lot of spots, temperatures are still pretty far above freezing. The exception is up into the northwest corner of the state in Dalton. We're at 31 degrees, so some sleet or freezing rain already possible there. And then up into elevation, temperatures are also at or below freezing. Through the Atlanta metro, we're pretty far above freezing at this point. We're at 44 degrees. This is likely going to be kind of our high temperature for the day today. It will be one of those days where temperatures fall throughout the afternoon. So as we start to bring in colder air, that transition from rain to freezing rain will become more widespread. So the bulk of the day today is actually not going to be so bad across much of the area. Again, into far north Georgia, we could start to accumulate some freezing rain, some sleet within the next few hours, and things will start to deteriorate there. But for the rest of us, especially through Metro Atlanta, it's not until this afternoon that I think things will start to really pick up. So by today, untreated roads will start to turn slick. Our temperatures are also going to help us out in that department, because since we're in the upper 30s and low 40s in most spots, it's going to take some time once temperatures get down to freezing to watch as the ground temperatures and the roads fall below freezing, which will give us a little bit of a transition time where the rain starts falling before things begin freezing. Overnight tonight is, I think, when things will really take a turn for the worse. Not only will showers become more widespread, but temperatures will plummet down into the 20s tonight, which will intensify any accumulation. So this evening and tonight is when more widespread roads will turn slick and icy. And by tomorrow morning, I think conditions widespread will be impacted when it comes to any potential for travel. I think roads will be very icy on Sunday morning in most spots. And with dropping temperatures and accumulating ice, that's when we'll also introduce that possibility for trees breaking and sagging, as well as power lines, which would lead to power outages. Now, a big thing that we'll be watching on Sunday is temperatures, because many of our forecast models are hinting at a little bit of a warm up that could take place on Sunday. Not a big one, but it could be the difference between below freezing temperatures and additional ice accumulation, and above freezing temperatures and only freezing rain across Metro Atlanta. So we'll be watching that very closely. But especially Saturday night and into Sunday morning, we're expecting high impacts when it comes to road travel because of ice, as well as that threat for power outages. So I would advise you, if you still have anything you need to get done to prepare for the storm, do it this morning. Make sure to stay out of the way of GDOT. Don't get on the roads if you don't have to, but if there are preparations that still need to be made, you've got a little time in most locations this morning before things start to become a little more hazardous later this afternoon and tonight. We do have winter storm warnings in effect up towards the north of us. For us in North Georgia, it's mainly an ice storm warning. So this includes Metro Atlanta, as well as all of our northern and northeastern counties. in these locations highlighted by the ice storm warning, that is where significant ice accumulation is expected and where impacts are expected to be the greatest. Down towards the south, we've got winter weather advisories. In these spots, we're still anticipating some ice accumulation, but it will not be quite up to the level of what we're expecting up towards the north. And that just means that there won't be quite as much ice accumulation. Now, this is just one of our forecast models, so I don't want you to get too attached to the exact numbers, but it looks most likely that this little northeastern corner of the state is going to pick up the most ice. We're talking up to a ½ inch to maybe a full inch of ice accumulation, which is catastrophic ice accumulation. In some cases, it would lead to widespread power outages and it would make roadways impassable. Through Metro Atlanta, the I-20 corridor, we're talking up to maybe a quarter to a ½ inch of ice accumulation, and even that is enough to still have moderate impacts. So the biggest impacts expected from this are going to be up to the northeast of the metro, through that I-20 corridor, the I-75 corridor. That's where we're expecting moderate impacts. And then as you go down towards the south, impacts will be a little bit more minor, and there will be some spots that don't pick up any ice at all. Ice accumulation quickly leads to impacts, though. It takes only a 1/10 of an inch of ice for a light glaze to develop on roads and sidewalks. It leads to slick bridges, coated windshields, as well as isolated power outages. By the time you get a quarter of an inch of ice accumulation, roads are icy, tree limbs begin to sag and break, which makes our power outages more numerous. And then a ½ inch of accumulation is when travel becomes dangerous, if not impossible on roads. It leads to widespread tree damage and long-term power outages. And in some spots, we are looking at a ½ inch or more of ice accumulation over the course of the next 48 hours. Here's how it plays out according to our forecast track. So temperatures up into far north Georgia are already starting to climb down below the freezing point. So up into the far northern portions of the state, we could start to see additional sleet or freezing rain really within the next couple of hours. These showers, though, throughout the day today are not going to be widespread. We're talking kind of hit and miss showers today, and a lot of what falls is going to be rainfall. As we get to this afternoon and evening, the precipitation becomes more widespread, but temperatures for the most part are still hovering near, if not slightly above freezing. It's overnight tonight that I think things will really take a turn. Not only is precipitation more widespread, but our temperatures are falling, which leads to more widespread freezing rain. And this is when a lot of our ice accumulation will take place after about midnight tonight through the early hours of tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be in the 20s and the low 30s. Now, our forecast for tomorrow is highly dependent on the wedge eroding. So the wedge is an area of high pressure up towards the northeast that leads to kind of trapping cold air from the Appalachian Mountains across our area. And in order for the wedge to erode, that would lead to temperatures that are a little bit warmer into the day on Sunday, allowing us to climb above freezing by Sunday afternoon in some spots. Now, it doesn't look like that will be the case for many locations northeast of the city, which is why we will see additional ice accumulation even into Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon there. But this is by 10:30 in the morning on Sunday. Notice temperatures are still at or above freezing for a lot of people through the metro and up towards the northeast, but down on the south side and even to the west of the city, temperatures are starting to get a little bit milder as that next round of more widespread rainfall moves through. Because of that slight warm up, it looks like a lot of the freezing rain will actually transition back to just a cold rainfall through much of North Georgia. But look at temperatures. They're in the mid to low 30s, just barely above freezing. So even a small change in our temperature outlook for tomorrow could have big impacts to the ice accumulation that we see. Up towards the northeast of the city, it is very likely we never climb above freezing for tomorrow, and that's why our ice accumulation totals there are expected to be higher. This rainfall would help us get rid of some of the ice through Metro Atlanta and down towards the west, but it's also going to leave us with a lot of water into Sunday night and early Monday morning. So even once that ends, we're still talking the possibility of icy roads, especially into Monday morning as Arctic air sinks down from the south. So truly cold air is going to drop in from the north Monday and Tuesday. This will lead to temperatures that fall down into the 20s, teens, and even single digits by Monday morning. What that means is that not only will anything that's left on the roads either refreeze or stay frozen, but we may not have the opportunity to really see things melt in many locations until Tuesday afternoon, because Monday, up towards the northeast of the city, there will be some spots that do not climb above 32 degrees. That said, sun comes back out on Monday, so that will also help to melt. But for people that do end up losing power into Sunday or Sunday night, that means that it will be a lot harder for crews to get out and repair those power lines until Tuesday afternoon in locations where the ice makes things impassable. So the truly cold air comes in Monday and Tuesday. Look at those overnight low temperatures Monday night and into Tuesday morning. We fall into the teens and the single digits. Winds will also start to pick up a little bit, so it becomes breezier tomorrow. And that wind combined with ice accumulation is not good news when it comes to the potential for breaking power lines and power outages. Winds will settle by Tuesday, but we'll still see feels like temperatures down into the single digits Tuesday morning before we try to thaw out into this upcoming week. The bitter cold, though, does not look like it is going anywhere. We will continue to track this potential for accumulating ice throughout today, tomorrow, here on 11 Alive Plus, as well as on air. We have live updates here on 11 Alive Plus every 30 minutes, and we'll begin our live coverage. It's me with Chesley McNeil, beginning at 8:30 on 11 Alive.